EBS TV, Television Reloaded.
All right, thank you. It's Issues and Answers on the Broadcasting Service in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria. My name is Josephine Eimi. On Issues and Answers this morning, we'll be talking about women in politics. We're in the political area right now. A lot is going on. A lot of jostling, a lot of persons looking for votes from the people. And we are the women in this part of elected position in ensuring that they are part of the decision-making process in Nigeria. So this morning we're looking at women in politics, how to bring more women into the political space and so that their voice can count in critical decision making. But before we start this morning, let me just give you some few information about what we'll be looking at this morning. According to a report, the national average of women's political participation in Nigeria has remained 6.7% in elective and appointive position, which is far below the global average of 22.5%. African regional average of 23.4%. and sub-regional average of 15%. So we have the 22.5 at the global average, 23.4 African regional average, and sub-regional average of 15%. But Nigeria remain 6.7% in women participation in political offices. And let's go to back home in the House of Representatives, where we have 360 members of thereabout. We just have 11 women in the House of Rep. While in the Senate, where we have 109 men, we have just 7. It was 8 before, but later because of one person passed on, we just have 7. So when you think about the ratio, how do we balance this? And in a population where we have more than 50% of women, and we have this few percent in the decision-making process. And somebody says, a place where women are not there, say the country or the society hardly grow. So we want to change this narrative, and that's what we are looking at this morning on Issues and Answers. And first guest I'll be looking at this topic to the women in politics. We have Dr. Nusa Ladeshun. She is the founding president of African Women Empowerment Guild, South coordinator, 100 Women Lobby Group. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we have Barrister Agatha Oseke. She is the Edo State coordinator of West African Network for Peace Building. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
And we have the gentleman with us in our midst, Wisdom Heather. He's a political analyst and a friend to women.
It's a he for she. It's a hero. It's our champion.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let me come to Dr. Ladeshun. Talking about women participation in politics, why is it important that women should be part of the political process?
Good. First, let me appreciate all the women who took part in the just concluded primaries in all the political parties. One would have expected that with the past way women were treated, that nobody will even bother to go and pick a form or even print a poster. But you find that more women came out this time. So I say kudos to all those women out there. And those who got the tickets, even those who did not get, great is your achievement. And you've made sure that at this point in time, there was no vacuum. We appreciate you for that. And we'll keep the flag flying, even come next dispensation and further and further. Why do women need to participate in politics? That is because politics is the road to governance. Politics is what produces the instruments for governance. And if governance is about making things easy, good for the populace, then of course, one hand cannot do it. Like the Benin's will say, one finger cannot pick lice from your head. When God made heaven and earth, he created man and woman. He said, it is not good for man to be alone. So when you find that things are going abysmal in Nigeria, it is because something is wrong. Women constitute a little more than 49% of the population. And these are not just human beings who are lying in one hole, who are God-forsaken in one hole. These are women who are active in the economy. These are women who are active in their homes. These are women who are active in the farms. The distributive trade in this country is in the hands of women. And more than 60% of the farming labor and farming production and all in the hand of women. How can you neglect this multitude of beings that God has bequeathed to Nigeria to make Nigeria a great nation and think that you can never be great? Things are getting worse by the day. All because the right thing is not being done. The men who appreciate that women are worth the thrust to leave their family in their hands at home. They go out, they come in, they go out, they come in. I mean, many men will admit to you that the government of his house is in the hand of their wife. Only those who don't want to admit the truth. So, but if a woman can manage a home, manage her family, manage resources, sometimes the resources are not even enough. A woman will say, rather than for my children to go hungry, I will not eat. Even if it is just one loaf of bread that is available in the house, she will hold her stomach and say, I'm not hungry. Mommy, you have to know I'm not hungry. That's what she will say. And if the die is cast and there is a need for her to solve a problem, because of course, you know what some men say when it's time for paying school fees, it's time for buying, go and meet your mother. Women have always risen to that challenge. Sometimes they sell their gold, they sell their clothes, and so why? In the private place, a woman is respected and appreciated. What about the public space? It is time for women to occupy that position in public space to change the narrative.
All right, Barrister Gata. I mentioned the numbers in the House of Rep and in the Senate. When you see the ratio men to women, is the line is long. Why do we have scarcity of women in political position? Why are we scarce there?
Well, this question is like a follow-up to what my mommy here just said. If you ask me if there has been improvement, I will say yes. Why that yes? Before you came up with these numbers, there were times we never had women at all in those high-level political spaces. And then now we are having this number. Actually, yes, the numbers are not commensurate to what we expect. And
very few.
Yes, and because they are few, of course, what do we expect the outcomes to be? It's like zero. Because definitely their voices will never be heard in that kind of space. I am thinking the reason why it has been like that is it's like there is a well-planned or tailored strategy to ensure that we wouldn't have more women. I am thinking so. Could it be out of fear? Could it be out of ego? Because, like Doctor said, when you have women in such spaces, you now discover that things will begin to get better, which 99% of the men there, they know. 99% of those in political party hierarchy, they know. But why are they really finding it difficult? Or why are they putting all those stumbling blocks to ensure that women don't get to that level? I'm as well thinking, could it be us, the women, not understanding the political terrain? The few, I am thinking, that understands this terrain, they have gotten to that level. Because we've been advocating that women, you going into politics, you must follow, there is a laid down template for you to be an active politician. Whether you are a woman or you are a man, those templates, to me, they are not laid down by, for just the men alone. If the men could follow those templates and get to that level, I am thinking the women that have decided to become politicians, they too should begin to follow those templates. Stage by stage, step by step. So that it wouldn't be, I just wake up today because I'm a woman, automatically I want to become a politician, without following laid down rules. Politics is a school of its own.
So we must learn the game.
You must learn the game.
All right, let me pause you there. Let me come to Elder Wisdom. She spoke about there are some games, there are some rules that you need to follow while going to politics. But we believe most of these women, they've gone through this route, but they still meet this block along the way. Why do you think most Nigerian men don't want women, I want to use that word, like, don't want women to be part of them in decision-making process? Taking from your masculine perspective.
All right. First of all, I want to say that Nigeria, our men, we are not trying as regards to following the women up in
Okay, people are not trying.
No, actually, the men are not trying. Political parties as well are not really doing a very good job at all. I think the last political dispensation during Goodluck Jonathan, they made it compulsory that there must be that percentage for women, 35% for women. And they insisted that political parties must at least give a lot of waivers for women. And then in their primaries at the grassroots level, it favored a lot of women, But today, you can imagine when a woman wants to come out to run for a particular position, a man is flexing muscle with that woman and probably spending a lot of money and then intimidating with talks and all the rest of them. So at the end of the day, the woman will definitely fall by the side because she is a woman. So they need that protection from the political parties. They need the protection from the standard of governance. They need a lot of protection. Now, naturally, we are seeing ourselves as a masculine country, like you said. You said 11, but I think in House of Representatives, I think it's about 18. Then the other one was 7. Yeah, yes, okay. 18, all through. Then all over the country, throughout 36 states, you have just 2 deputy governors throughout 36 states. So, and there are so many staggering records.
You're talking about which year? Which year are you talking about?
No, we are talking of currently.
The current one.
Throughout 36 states, you have 2 deputy governors, two female that are deputy governors. All others, no political party could have picked. They did not even enforce it that at least a woman should even run as deputy. You understand? Then you have some states, the percentage of women inclusion is very low. Some states that have up to 287 state assembly members, you have less than 23. I mean, about 12. We did the statistics of 12 states with 287 assembly members, and we are seeing less than 23 that are women. Then you have about 325 local government chairmen, only 31 are females. 73 vice chairmen, and then 368 females out of 2,075 councillors. Imagine that. So the statistics is so much controlled by the men, right, and it's not going towards the women. Now there are factors that happens. Let's be frank. Politics is very deep. It's very heavy. It's something that in Nigeria, even most men cannot even handle it. Talk of the women. So we should admit that. So most women who come into politics Some of them cannot even start from that being a political aide. Some of them are favored through maybe a kind of personal relationships before they get higher. But some have the personal ambition, political ambition, but it will be difficult for some of them to thrive. We have to be very fair. But I've discovered that if a woman stands for what she believes, just like Angela Merkel, she spent, I think, the longest time as a chancellor of Germany. From 2002 to 2005, that woman was in opposition. Then from 2005 to 2021, that woman was and she was even the controller for European Union. She was the one that brings peace. I believe if that woman was there by now, maybe Putin would not have been reacting the way he's reacting. So the woman control. She had control of the system, both in Germany and both in the entire Europe, and she was the most powerful person in the world.
All right, talking about the figures, I like what I gave at. I said 11.
Okay, you said
in
11.
the House of
Yes,
Rep.
House of Rep. Okay.
Why 7? It was 8 before in Senate. That's the recent one right now.
Okay.
So that is it. But compared to the ratio is small.
Okay.
Let me go to Dr. Ladishu. Let's look at the nomination form, for instance. A particular party just placed like 100 million for a form, and the other one 40 million, the other one. Does this kind of encourage women to take such form in order to participate in the political process?
The answer is in your question. The forms, the political parties out there, especially the frontline ones.
They gave waiver.
Waiver for women. Their own was not as 100 million.
Okay, let's hear first.
So the political parties imposed high cost on the form for nomination and expression of interest. That was high, 100 million, and in fact, the rate at which a particular party was getting people throwing in the 100 million, it's as if we are talking of granite and pepper here. So you want to know, is it the same country where some people are drinking water from garbage and eating all sorts of things?
Children are at home, not going home, and going to school.
So you wonder. Then another party, 40 million. But one good thing is that these leading political parties, frontline political parties, gave waiver to women and said they can take the form, they must pay for the expression of interest, which in one particular party was 10 million, and the another one for president.
And the president might frown against that yes. By giving them a waiver.
That is because in time past, so the me talking here, I was a victim of it.
Yes.
Because in the past, women were in those political parties, the forms were given to the women free, and yes. Because it was freely given, the men said, "How can we pay so much for a form and you give the ticket to somebody who did not pay anything? Who is the one building the party?" And that argument came. It was used against us on the field. It was used against us at the time of when.
Politics.
and that was the politics. That was the politics. And you know, our people will easily buy into such a sentiment. Say, it's true. Why should my brother pay so much? And then this other woman did not pay. No, it will not give her. So these are the things that they use. You know, in politics, people take one little sentiment and build on it until the opponent is run to zero. So that one, it helps some women to access, because at least in APC and PDP we have women aspirants. Though the APC has not done their primaries, you know, but the woman who contested in PDP did not see through to get a ticket. But at least she got one. And we also have a record that there are some other men in the contest with her who also got one. And some even got 0. So the women have been set free of this.
They don't support themselves.
Yes. Every time they keep saying, what about Sarah Jibrin? Now we have cleaned off of Sarah Jibrin. So, but I think that there's a lot more the parties can do beyond giving waiver for subsidized form to participate in the primaries. We wanted a situation. That was why the women were occupying the National Assembly for days and weeks and months to say there are 5 bills we want the House to pass so that it becomes constitutional, becomes our constitutional right to have spaces. What will it take? And all we are asking for is, at least in these primaries, put a constituency for women, so that all the women in the states, apart from those who know that they have the power to struggle with the men on the other one, let this ticket be fought for by all the women in the state, in that constituency. And by so doing, by so doing, you will at least have one woman in a state house of assembly that will usually resort to not having anything. So that was a very good deal. They are not even asking for 5. We're not asking for 10. Just say 1, so that in the whole of Nigeria, even if you are to say one female senator, let it be at least 1 female senator from every state. That would have just been reasonable for the work that women have done to be mothers, for the work that women have done to be natural doctors to their children. Those who are fighting against women now, but for their mothers, some of them would have lost their feet.
Exactly.
Some of them would have been dead without some convulsion and all that. They forget the role that women have played in their lives and say no. And well, guess what's going to happen? By the kind of way they also now did with bad belly to do on that electoral act, they shot themselves on the foot. Exactly. The certain areas which should have helped them out, many of them are not returning to the National Assembly. Many of almost half of them in the PDP, lost their bid and to new people, and they couldn't go back. And all because when you are there and when you are in a position of authority, don't think that you are now the Alpha and Omega. Think for everybody, not think for yourself.
All right, thank you, Barrister Agatha. Is there any law that places restriction in women participation in politics in Nigeria? Is there a law for that?
You say restriction?
Yes.
There is no law.
Okay.
No law.
That means you can aspire to be.
You can aspire to become whatever you want to be. All that are playing out today is made by the system. When I say the system, the political parties, the leaders,
And culture.
Because if we try to look away, the effect of culture in this whole thing, it's like we don't know what we are doing or what we are saying. Because this culture still plays so much role in the hearts of men. It has gripped their minds.
Okay.
No matter how nice their wives are, their mothers, their sisters, even their girlfriends, they still feel that their role is behind the scene. Then the political parties, we've been clamoring for this thing. To me, I think it is high time we begin to, visit them individually to make them understand that there is nothing wrong in you, creating this space in your constitution or in your documents. You understand? That controls you. That where a man becomes the chairman, a woman should be the vice. Where the woman becomes the chairperson, the man becomes. Let's this twinning
balance.
Let's this twinning begins to play out in their documents, because all these things we've been saying has not been documented per se. So by the time they understand the need for that, I think it will begin to help women. And then secondly, I am thinking the society. Let both men and women. I have seen where women will say, this woman, no, I cannot. This woman. We should begin to understand that you don't have the capacity or the ability to go there, and you are seeing a fellow woman that has the capacity and the ability to go. What stops you from supporting her? There is nothing wrong about that. And that is why they keep on, telling us this past story of Sarah Jupri. During her time, in as much as she didn't play her role very well, we too, on this side, we never understood the game very well. If we had, probably would have done a lot of work around her. So, when political parties begin to play their part, recognizing the importance of women, and the women in those parties begin to understand their roles, not as
praise singers, not as, supporters of the other gender, things will begin to work out well for us.
All right, thank you for that. Wisdom Header, there's this slang, women don't support themselves. Women, when you see few women in position of authorities as a result of women not supporting their own. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, I don't want to say absolutely. So, to an extent, I know people can be jealous and the other gender. Women can be, a little bit of that part of them can always come up. But it still has to do with orientation. I know our women need to try more. I don't want to say they have not been trying. I know they need to try more. Why I say that is because it is difficult for most women to follow a pattern and stay put to that pattern until they succeed. It is difficult without being distracted. And some of them feel that most men don't also go through the challenges. Men go through all these challenges. The same kind of challenges that women go through, men go through them. But men have become the masculine part of life that they want to feel that they are in charge. The same way the women can also be in charge. Yes, the country is an Abrahamic country. Let's say the Christians are more, the Muslims are there as well. And these two sections, these two religions, they have the domination of men. Then the traditionalists have domination of men. So men are not so comfortable when their wives are so exposed to other men. They are not comfortable. The society does not really give them that regard. When they see a woman that is always projecting herself, some men become very scared. And most women in politics, so many of them, some are single, some are very okay with their marriages, but some are not. You understand? And these are the challenges that the society has actually brought in. So women need to do a lot of work to change the narrative. We need to do a lot of work to make sure people start having a different perspective, a different orientation about women in leadership. We need to work, we need to pay the price, we need to show other women that it is possible. Because there are so many young girls out there that are interested in politics. So many of them who want to become relevant politically in the space today. But they want to see another woman that is doing something. I remember those days of Dora Akunyili and all the rest of it. She was motivating younger generation of women. You understand? But today, I think we still need to see that kind of drive. We need to see some people who have paid the price in the political setting, not just in the business world. Some people who have excelled in the business world should use their resources and bulldoze themselves into the political space and empower women. Then let other people see them, and then they will pick up. I believe that should help to bring them up.
Ma, you just heard you talking about younger women needs to see the older ones to emulate. Do we have those women that are like they are doing so well in politics that other younger people can emulate? Do we have some?
It's very easy to answer. In the past, since 1999, I cannot say, as a matter of fact, that there has been a crop of women who have come up and who have remained in the system to encourage other women. In the paper I just published, I observed that women retire very early from politics, and that is a major problem. You hear a woman who was in the Senate, you hear the woman who was in House of Rep, you hear a woman who was in the Assembly. Today, when you talk about politicking, they are no longer there. They are no longer there. You don't see them. You only hear, that one was the first this, the first that. You don't see them out as a model for women to follow. Apart from some of us, some of us who would have actually provided that kind of modeling, we are not given the opportunity. You know, all I can say, I tried. But if I tried and I did not get to Senate, I did not get to House of Reps, where will I show the women, the girls that it is possible? That's the problem. So I don't know what their problem is. They have. We also have women who are very who are well off in their business. In fact, the banks. You have many CEOs. You have many women who are CEOs of banks. But these women are not willing, are not ready to sponsor women, and because of what it takes. When you also now women are for the young men, they have older men who will mentor them, who will take up their bill. Pay it, who will sponsor them, who will be at their back. But who will be at the back of a woman? The men don't want to be at the back of any woman. They say, hey, they will say, before we go and sponsor her, will she answer us? She will first of all answer her husband and her family, you know, because they think that every woman has a responsibility first and foremost to their family before they. So in politics, they don't want that kind of thing. They don't want that. All they want is it's trade by barter. I put this for you to win this position. When you are working, this is how much you should be sending to this account. This is who you should be helping. This is what you should be helping. You know, and whereas women will be more faithful. There are many of the boys who have disappointed them, but they will not talk. Whereas if they had entrusted women with that kind of confidence, with that social contract. With that social contract, they would have been well served. And now today we would have more women who will be able to stand up there and say, young girls, this is how you carry on. Because in politics, you need someone to back you up. If you were to astray, take a very serious look, a costly look at how some of the women in National Assembly got there, most of whom are from the north. Yes. From the north, where you will least expect that you have empowered women.
Yes.
What you find is that these are daughters or wives of successful business and successful political fathers. You know?
Daughters especially. So you find that this young girl, how did she manage to get to the Senate? How did she manage to get to House of Reps? She had a father.
She has a father.
She had a platform. She had a platform because, you know what, by the time, let me update what Agatha gave earlier on. In the political parties, there is a provision in the Constitution for affirmative action. And some of the men who understand the right and the need of women, particularly talking about the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki. And even in the past, where some people were told, please bring for our political party in the Constitution, it says if you are to nominate people to the Congress to a position, if you are to bring 5, let 3 be men and 2 be women. It's there in the Constitution. That is why you find that even in the last Congress, you must, if for the 3 people you are supposed to send as an adult delegate, 1 must be a woman. It was for those who understand the Constitution and how it works. It was well followed in the parties where you have somebody to implement it.
Yes, like the government.
And when sometimes that provision is there, you tell them, please, for the position of a commissioner, bring us 5 names, 2 of which should be women. Some local governments will send even 6 men.
So why are women not helping the younger ones when they get into that position? Because from what she's saying now,
yes,
some women getting into that position and then they are not bringing the younger ones along. Like take for example, if a woman is a senator, how many women did she sponsor?
Okay, talking about godmothers.
Godmothers.
You know, we have godfathers.
How many women
we have
did she
godmothers
sponsor to become somebody, maybe House of Assembly or House of Rep or something, or as a commissioner? How many women?
Okay, before you get
to that, that's not the lamentation I just started.
Before we
that's the lamentation I gave.
No, before we get to that aspect, you spoke about women retiring very early.
Yes.
Does it have to do with marriage
or childbearing? It has nothing to do with that, because the women that I can see in my face now that have retired early, they have passed childbearing age.
So why are they retired?
Because they've gone through. It's as if when they are telling us something, whoof, thank God I'm out. You know, that's
Yes,
Okay, I get what you're saying.
that's
System is heavy.
because
System is heavy.
Yeah.
can you imagine what's her name? Ate? What's her name?
Patricia
Patricia. And some other people, you can imagine what they go through, and possibly, and usually we've always said that the political game playing out there, the more you look, the less you see.
Yes, ma. To continue there, I think, like I said earlier, most women that goes into politics, to me, I've tried to x-ray all of them, those I know. They don't go into politics to see it as a career.
They don't even see themselves as women.
As women, they go into politics to, like, that is what I've seen. At least I've discussed with some of them. Let me just go there and make little money to take care of this, take care of that. But the men, they see politics as a career.
Passion, they have passion.
They have passion for politics. And that is why they enter into politics till they die. But you see our women, they get there, they fail at a point, they withdraw.
Okay, let's talk about the capacity. Are we saying that most of our women don't have this capacity for leadership position? Because when you have this capacity, no matter what comes your way, you stand strong. Do you think most of our women don't have capacity for leadership position?
When you talk of capacity, in leadership, some are natural. Some, you have to build yourself to become whatever kind of leader you want to be. So if, as a woman, you want to become a politician, Mommy was in one of my, one of the programs we just heard, where I thought, as you want to become a politician, you must begin to build your capacity in several spheres of life for sustainability.
Okay.
So if you don't understand these things, please go and begin to build. There are so many online schools. Our mommy is there. You can call her anytime to get whatever capacity you want. I'm sure she can give you 2 hours in 24 hours to take you through. Yes, she has not succeeded in politics. But when you talk of leaders, women leaders in Edo, I stand tall to say it anywhere. She's one of the women I respect.
All right, thank you, Barrister Agasta. Let me go to Wisdom Header. Women are clamoring for, give us this, give us this. From what we just gathered, do you think that women in Nigeria have the capacity to sustain their leadership position?
Yes, I think so. They have the capacity because the little we have seen, the few ones we have seen at the public space, they really impacted. But the challenge still remains the orientation of women in leadership. Women still have this subservient nature and this subservient orientation. They still believe in, like now we are going into, everybody is going into skills and developing your own business, entrepreneurship, because probably there's no job or something in the country. And our women are seeing that once you say go and look for a skill to develop and start, the first thing that comes to their mind is there is a particular trade a woman must go into. Nobody has said that. Nobody has said that women must go into hairdressing or fashion or makeup or something. Nobody has said it is our orientation. Nobody has stopped you from going into real estate, into oil and gas. Nobody has stopped you from going into any other top businesses as far as life is concerned. It is an orientational issue, and we have to deal with that orientation. Now, the country has tried. The world is trying for women. Let's be honest. Because we celebrate women more than we celebrate men. But I don't know why we still have not used these capacities that have been provided even by the country. We have the Ministry of Women Affairs. We don't have any special ministry for men. So why is it that we don't use some of these channels? We celebrate the girl child. We celebrate women. We celebrate mothers. So how come we don't use these channels to empower even the women in our society in terms of leadership? How come we only see the menial jobs, or if we want to talk of women now, going to villages now to encourage women, empower women, we just talk about teaching them farming or any trade. So must women always see themselves at that particular level? It's an orientational
All right,
challenge.
thank you. Let me come to Dr. Ladishun. Talking about, he said something that women have this servant nature. The nature that, for instance, we go for a party meeting. where the men will be seated. You see, when it's time to serve the food, the women will stand and they will want to serve the men. And all of you are together, you came for this same meeting. When it comes to some aspects, they will just give it to the women to say, women do it. And we are on the same level, but when it comes to, okay, go and wash the plates, go and bring it starts from there. You are into leadership, coaching. How can the women build their confidence? For instance, they're in a meeting and it's time to sell food. You don't need to stand because you are used to standing at home to feed, and this time you're in a meeting, all of you went there for the same purpose, to like, you're looking for one thing, and when it's time to now do the food, the serving, the woman will, how can a woman like take away herself from that and just think like a man in a particular area?
You've talked right. You've talked very well. Just like my brother observed earlier on, it's very natural for women to see themselves first and foremost as caring beings.
Yeah.
It's in our nature. God created us for that. And without us, this world would have been a mess.
Big mess.
For the men. We are there to care for them when they are ill. We are there to care for them when they are hungry. We are there to care for them when they need clothing. So carrying that from private, from homely responsibility to the public space is what we are talking about. Now, let's not also forget that in every such occasion, when they ask the women to go and serve food, they ask the men to go and serve drinks.
Okay.
So
Sometimes.
they don't. No, most of the time,
Yes.
you don't find that they ask you to serve food and they also ask you to go and serve, because everybody should sit down gently and then a woman is serving. I understand that, when it is not that they take it out on themselves voluntarily to go and do it. They are assigned. They are assigned. So woman leader, please you try and make sure that there's food for this meeting, and then also the guests that will serve, and of course. They are very.
That's when they should start protesting.
they are very.
They should not end that.
So you find, if today you go to any parties, you see that we also have women who are serving, and girls who are serving, also boys who are serving. So somehow something is growing up that I'm sure will soon change this mentality.
Especially when you are in a meeting, for instance, what I'm trying to say, if you are in for a meeting, we are together in the meeting. At this level, we are at par.
Yeah.
No, at that level you are at par. Nobody will ask the woman leader to go and serve food.
You know what? No,
But the responsibility we give it to her to make sure that there's food on the table.
all right. You know why? You know why I said this? There is one senator from the northern side.
Yes.
She said that on television that they went for a meeting, and when it's time for food, they now ask her to go and serve. She now said no.
It means the food was already there.
And she said, go and bring the food. She now said, no, we are in this meeting together.
Yes.
So I cannot just stand up. Let's look at
That was
it.
a bad arrangement.
You
Because
understand?
whoever provided food should have provided service.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, how can the women build capacity? Because most women, they have this drive. They want to be in that space.
Yes.
But most of them don't have confidence in them. How can they build the confidence, man?
Well, what we are doing, particularly in my organization, the African Women Empowerment Guild, in 1998, we realized that the political terrain was full of women who could not help themselves. Some of them were shy to come in, and so we raised a little fund from the British Council to organize a small workshop for women who are interested in politics, or women who are independent women in career, in business, who will find the need to participate in politics. That held in Motel Plaza in Benin here. And from that meeting, good number of the women who were in that meeting, who were not in politics before, who were successful pharmacists, bankers and all, came into politics. One became the chair of Orion local government area, and others have also featured in different areas. It was there in that meeting that Josephine Aneni asserted herself and said, now my husband is very active in politics. Can I also come in and join with you? She said, yes, if your husband is playing, so you play your own. She became the first woman leader, not women leader, woman leader. That is how productive that meeting was. And ever since then, we have been trying, my organization, to ensure that if the present generation is not getting more empowerment, because of a low self-esteem that we have suffered over the years, we decided to go to school population to raise young Democrats, particularly among the girls. and we raised what we call student representative councils, which have now created democracy week for all the schools of our project, of which Education Center was one, Word of Faith was one, and some other.
You are calling those names,
Yes.
then maybe you will see the commercial department because you just did publicity for them, and just you will see us later.
We will see later. So what I'm saying is that we have tried to ensure that even if this new present generation is not getting it right, the next generation should come up. So we have young girls who are participating in democracy at the university and at other places, and so I'm sure that in less than 10 years from now, we will have a female. From this particular exercise primaries, did you know that there is a woman who has gotten the gubernatorial ticket in Adamawa State?
Yes.
So it's very likely that
taking the lead in that,
yes,
and that's where you have.
I knew it.
Okay, all right. That's the much we can take on this program, because we are going to continue on it maybe next week or some other time, because women in politics is a big deal, and we need to encourage our women, especially the young one, to go into it. I want to thank the founding president, African Women Empowerment Guild, South Coordinator, 100 Women Lobbying Group, Dr. Dusa Aladeshiru. Thank you once again for your thoughts this morning. Barrister Agatha Osieke, Edo State Coordinator of West African Network for Peace Building. Thank you for your thoughts. We're looking forward to seeing you again, ma'am. Wisdom Elder, Public Analyst. Thank you. You are the gentleman amongst women. Blessed Ada. All right, and that's our show this morning. My name is Josephine Eimihe. I want to thank my producer, Godwin Enobakari. All right, from here we call the curtain. Do have a productive day ahead.
EBS TV, television reloaded.